The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
TV party tonight! What? TV party tonight! Oh!
We got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated, yes.
To our favorite shows.
Oh, my tickets!
Everybody loves Hypnotoad.
Scary dog!
Pearson and Blurnsville.
Futurama!
Okay, so I actually forgot to add you guys there to the screen. Sorry about that. One hell of a way to start a show tonight. Hello, good evening, and welcome to TV Party Tonight. I'm your host, Alexis Hejna. Joining me, Mr. Jesse Starcher. How are you doing, good sir?
Oh my goodness, I think this might be the first podcast I've had since the holidays. I think, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, so I know you guys are, well, I know at least Alexis, you were on one last night, so I'm ready. I'm glad to get to ring in the new year of podcast with you guys.
All right, and also joining us, Mr. David Wright. How's it going up there? Hope in the frozen north at this point.
I'm in the not so frozen bit right now, so it's actually pretty good. It's wet.
See, you're lucky. We got hit by a blizzard down here in the Midwest. We got like 11 inches of snow. So the whole city
Kansas really is like Calgary.
I'll take your word for it. I know nothing about.
Take today and multiply it by 8 months.
Duly noted. All right, and we are here to talk about Helluva Boss Season 2, Part 2. This is the 5 episodes that came out in 2024. Full Moon, Apology Tour, Ghost Fuckers, Mastermind, and Sinsmiths, along with the 4 shorts that premiered: Hell's Bells, Operation Antarctica, Operation Weeaboo, and Operation Chupacabra. All right. If you guys are longtime watchers, you know that we have been covering Helluva Boss since it started. We covered the first half of Season 2. Oh my God, I can't even remember how long ago it was that we recovered that. So
Had to have been, I could probably tell you, I think it was at least 2023, right?
yeah,
No.
I think so.
Was it? Maybe not. Maybe it was earlier 2024. But anyway, yeah, it's been a while. I mean, they took quite a bit of time in between both seasons.
That
Or I
they
should say
did.
both halves.
Yeah, because the first half of Season 7 ended right before Halloween 2023. So we would have done our review before the end of that year. And yeah, Full Moon didn't air until May of 2024. So we've been just a touch on the business.
15th, November 15th, 2023. I just pulled it up.
Thank you very much. Knew you're useful for something.
Yeah.
All right. And Jesse, as you and I were talking about before we started, it's going to be a while before Season 3 starts. So this is going to probably be our last time talking Helluva Boss for a while. But as you guys know, this is one of our favorite shows. We love watching it, love talking about it. So let's go ahead and dive in with the first episode, Full Moon. This picks up right after the end of the first half. We have Stolas receiving the Asmodean Crystal, which will give Blitz the power to go to Earth without breaking demon law. But of course, that means that he has to let Blitz out of their little contractual obligation. And he's not sure if Blitz will still want to stick around. So we get our first musical number, When I See Him, and it is very identifiable. I think if you have ever been I know we're all happily married, but if you've ever broken up with someone and you've realized that you have to actually, the tension going into it, I think we all know that feeling of just, we know what has to happen and we're really scared of how it's going to turn out.
Yeah. It's a really emotional, like, this whole half of this season's a lot of emotionally charged songs, and this one kicks it right off. I mean, my gosh, you're watching somebody who there is a relationship between these two, and they're both trying to figure it out and both trying to make it work. And yeah, when we get this first number, I mean, it's a doozy.
Definitely. Of course, we also get a decent amount of humor before that because we have the return of the cherubs who have aligned themselves with DHORKS, the dorks, to try to take on the Hellspawn. And we get some action sequences. And as weird as it sounds, I just love it. So Blitz knows that he needs to gear up for the full moon and he wants to really make it special. So we just have him shopping in the lust ring. And I don't know why, but I love getting to see kind of this little day-to-day life of those in the hell rings and seeing them go to the different shops and stuff. David, what did you think about that? Seeing more of the actual, just like a day-to-day life in the rings.
Yeah, like where to start there? Yeah, like I like the idea of sort of like, yeah, what is the day-to-day of a demon? I think like the best example was I think Osmodeus having Fizz read his schedule and like everything is dildo related on it because he's like the lust demon.
Yeah,
and
it was like
this is your life.
Yeah, you have to have a safety meeting. What happened with the old vibrators? Still love the way you said that.
Yeah, maybe that was the vibrators. And then I think like they're going to test like the new product and they have it like behind like a blast shield and everything. And it's like, you know, they've got like the safety goggles on and like everything's going good. Then all of a sudden like sirens start wailing and a big explosion. It's
the Dragon Driller.
Now with vibration.
The Dragon Driller.
He just pulls it out and like 90% of the screen is blurred out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, we have to ask the question, was it drawn being blurred out or did someone draw it and then they had to blur it out?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure someone has the answer and they'd probably tell you given what I've seen in the show.
I'd like to add.
I'd still say Crimson and Moxie have the best dildo joke of the entire show. So
yes, with all the in the X's and O's. Oh my god, that scene is still so freaking funny.
Dad, I'm bi. It doesn't mean that I'm obsessed with dildos. Nobody is obsessed with dildos. And then there are dicks everywhere. This is amazing. Sorry, I know you shouldn't quote jokes on. You know, you shouldn't explain all the jokes, but that one was just so good.
I agree.
Perfect timing.
No, but and I love the scene of the chair. We have the cherubs actually getting into hell to follow Blitz, and they don't. They don't. Yeah, that is literally a freaking Stargate.
Yeah, they get Iron Man suits to go through a Stargate into hell because now they're fully funded because they have evidence that demons are real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Iron Man suits and one furry suit.
Yes.
Yeah. Agent 1 is a furry. Confirmed.
Right.
Oh, God. But yeah, I just love their reactions to seeing all this stuff in the lust ring. They see all of the implements that...
Oh, could you imagine that being like the first thing you see in hell is the lust ring?
Oh, jeez, Christ.
like you're probably like, okay, hellfire, brimstone, people getting roasted alive, like... You know, yeah, like Wrath, you know, we know what to expect, but then you get lust instead. You're like, wait, what the?
Boy, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, Dragon Driller, what the?
But they don't understand what it is because and I love that they go in. Oh God, what is it? When they go into the shop for the spanking stuff, it's like I got whisk flails, brimstone, titanium, and I have to ask, you have the moment where they're like, well, what was that other hellspawn looking at? Oh, just some of those. And they pan over for like 3 seconds on this chair. Did either of you pause it and look at everything that's on that chair?
Oh, no, I did not. Is it bad? It's got to be bad.
I am not
the background
joking.
artist had a good time.
This was my reaction. Okay, but oh God. It's just like the more you look at it, the more you're kind of freaked out.
That's funny.
Oh, I love it. And I hate to say it, I'm embarrassed to admit why I know this. Never use obsidian for those kind of beads. Obsidian is called volcanic glass for a reason. When it breaks, it is sharp as hell. Yeah, it's like you don't want it used like that.
You don't want an accident. Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to admit there was a page I have actually seen of what stones to use and what stones to not use.
Jeez,
This one's for display purposes only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, but you see a lot of people talking about rose quartz. It's like, no, never use rose quartz because it's a very porous stone. So it's very easy for bacteria to get in there and hard for to clean it. So it's like, okay.
This segment is very
Steal all the way.
educational. not the education I was expecting, but yeah.
Steal all the way.
Didn't plan on our conversation going like that.
Polished steel.
I'm just waiting for the message from Mark. This is the best podcast you've ever done.
Well, did
This
you?
is
I don't
the
know. If you,
anti-Thanksgiving.
I am never going to let that down, am I?
Have you met Mark?
No, I know. No, we actually joked about this last night on the Nosferatu review because he asked about the whole concept. We were talking vampire lore, and we were talking about people who are sexually attracted to vampires, a la like Dracula. And he was asking me about that, and I just looked at him like, well, I didn't know I was going to be expected to lay out my kinks on tonight's show.
That's Mark's thing.
Yeah, but then I
Yeah.
immediately quoted Blitz and said, oh, you're one of those. And we will be getting to that quote later.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. I also loved seeing Fizz come back. I love that we have Blitz and Fizz as friends again. And I love just how friendly they were going over all of the stuff in the merchandise store. It's a cute scene. It's really cute. But then, unfortunately, just punch in the heart, pull out your heart, throw it on the ground, as we have to deal with the breakup scene, and it is painful. Jesse, what did you think of the scene with Stolas, bearing it all and how it blew up in his and Blitz's face? What did you think?
Well, like I said, we got into this second half of the season, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe we'd have some more growth between the two, but we start things off with them just, Stolas and Blitz are obviously at odds as to what they think their relationship is based on. And they can't. Stolas wants more. Blitz doesn't understand what Stolas wants. We explore a lot more of Blitz's character throughout the rest of this part of the season. So it was rough. You watch Stolas try to explain to his partner, okay, this is what I want in a relationship. And it isn't sinking in that Blitz needs to understand that he's worth something, and he doesn't. And that's where the divide comes in, and they essentially part ways because Stolas feels like there's no hope for the relationship. It was kind of rough. Like I said, emotionally charged. This is we're starting things off with a bang this second half because it's rough.
So, Dave, my question for you then, following up on that, there was a lot of talk in the pages in the fandom about this breakup and saying that Stolas completely mishandled it, that he could have approached Blitz better, could have started the conversation, could have made it clear. What do you think? Did Stolas just botch his attempt to take things to the next level with Blitz, or do you think that he was on the level? Do you think he could have done anything different?
I didn't rewatch everything for this episode, so it's been a while since I saw that episode. I don't remember sort of seeing anything that made me think that he botched it. I was not terribly surprised. Sorry, pull the cable back on the monitor. Come on. Where are you?
Technical
there we go.
difficulty, stand by.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't quite make that one look smooth, but I digress. I was expecting the breakup because that makes more drama.
Mm-hmm.
Like if everything worked out, that wouldn't be much material for the rest of the show. But still, I'm rooting for those two. But I think it was a lot more like like this started off as basically a transaction between the two of them, right? I give you the I loan you the grimoire, you come and sex me up, and that was
satisfy me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And,
once in the full moon, you return with the grimoire. We have a night of passionate fornication.
Yeah.
And you get to keep the book the rest of the time.
Yeah. For more of early Stolas Blitz commentary, please see episode 1 of this series. But I think we did see that the relationship was turning into something more slowly. I think especially when they went to Asmodeus's club.
Mm-hmm.
And were sort of outed in front of everyone. But yeah, it's like they don't really know how to proceed in like what this thing is, who's at what step. And Stolas is kind of the first one to arrive at, I have feelings for Blitz. I want to be in an actual like healthy relationship, not a transaction. And so I need to get rid of this business arrangement tying us together, but still allowing Blitz to do what he wants to do. Whereas I think we know that Blitz has issues in his past. We kind of know Stolas's issues. Like, his father was pretty absentee, didn't have much regard for him, and he was married to just a total bitch.
Gosh.
Yeah. More on her later. But whereas Blitz, like, we know that there was like a fire and something, but we still don't have the full story about why he is the way he is. But we're getting, we're being drip fed over time what's going on. And plus we sort of introduce more that there's a class structure to hell amongst the demons, where imps are at the very lowest end. And so yeah, like you think, like, I think with Blitz it was more this just got real and he doesn't know how to handle it, so he just lashed out with making accusations. I mean, and this happens in actual relationships too. Like, like if Mark were here, he'd probably be able to talk about this with more authority. That's not a personal dig at Mark, just he's more into that kind of psychology. So like, yeah, I think it was more like Stolas didn't know what button he was pushing, because and Blitz just kind of leapt to the worst possible interpretation of what he was doing that sort of resulted in him like cutting off the relationship. Like, I think it was subconsciously he was more concerned about being in an actual deep relationship than actually like being broken up was a safer space for him than that. But like, I think Stolas did his best. I mean, this is like some rich guy who's only ever been in like a terrible relationship with one person, so he's doing his best here, and I think he did all right.
Yeah, and you do feel for Blitz as well in a way. That scene where he's struggling to understand why he's been giving it the crystal and the lines, "I can do better." You feel that he has been judged so much his whole life, and he doesn't understand why someone is giving him this opportunity. It's just like, no, that's not the way it works. I screw up and you insult me and I lose my opportunities. No one does nice things for me.
Yeah, and also we have the benefit of watching both characters from our seats, so we have a better understanding of them both, whereas the two characters have a very different perspective on them. Stolas doesn't get to see what Blitz is up to when they're not around.
Well, that only leaves one more question. What does a particularly horny candle smell like?
Cheesy crime.
I'm sorry. I love it. He just grunts like, I got this candle that smells horny. And I'm just like, well, what the hell does that smell like?
Yeah. I can only imagine. My gosh. Yeah, that I had a couple other notes on that episode.
Sure.
Really, the only one that stuck out to me was I love how what are the agents' names again? Dorks.
Yeah, the dorks.
Like they initially sent kids through the portal because it was only 2 feet wide diameter. So they're like, well, we're not going to send kids there. Well, we already did that, or something along those lines.
I was like, we obviously can't sell children. Not after last time. That was great.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And the line, it's like, honestly, we're not even sure that was hell.
Right. But yeah, that was.
There are days when you would be tempted to volunteer some kids for that duty.
Yeah, and I like.
Yeah, you're gonna eat your vegetables now, aren't you?
That's right.
You gonna show this to your daughter when
Don't-
she's old enough?
Don't make me open
Like,
the portal.
Maybe,
yeah,
but
yeah.
she's
Like I've got a Stargate.
no. I don't think I'll be showing this to her till she's well into her teens at the very earliest. The disclaimer on every episode is apt.
Very true. Okay, so if there are any other notes, if there aren't any other notes on full moon, then we'll move on to the next episode, which is Apology Tour. So Blitz tries again to get Stolas to come around, and at this point, Stolas is just like, "Okay, now you're starting to annoy me. I want you to go away," and gets mad at him and points out to it's like, "You haven't even apologized for what you did." Having Blitz go on a literal apology tour to everyone that he has screwed over in the past, culminating with all of his exes at a party in the living world hosted by our favorite succubus, Verosika Mayday.
That's right. That's right.
Which Stolas gets invited to and goes. This also does confirm a lot of mythos have that the dead can rise amongst the living and be on Earth on Halloween. This party does take place on Halloween, and we see that imps, incubi, succubi, they can all go up to Earth on Halloween. So
yeah, the anti-Blitz party was something else. I mean, all of the X's there and
The decorations.
yeah,
right. The
Again,
games.
the background artist had a lot of fun with that one.
Oh yeah.
Did you notice they actually used a picture of a live action or real life plushie for the bonfire where they were burning the effigy of him?
Oh, did they? No, I didn't notice that. That's funny.
I thought that was cute. It was like little merchandise, drop. Plushies are available at Shark Robots.
Merch. Yeah. Watching. Okay. So it's like Blitz cannot get serious. He's very surface. He's very, he doesn't want to show emotion, nor does he want to get attached to a lot of things. He finds out, obviously, that he is, and he finally decides to do something to try and salvage or, throw some life back into this relationship. Maybe there's a chance, and he goes on the apology tour to, try and make up for all the stuff that he has done, or at least to show that he can be somewhat remorseful over how he's treated people, because he doesn't treat people very well. I think that was one of the things that grabbed me after jumping back into this. We've been on such a hiatus. I grabbed these episodes all at once on Saturday, and immediately Blitz's just attitude towards everything was grating on me. And I'm like, man, he's so damaged. And I think we talked about this in the last podcast, is how damaged Blitz is and how he tries to handle things outside of this thin shell that he has of just being mean to everybody and not letting anybody in. And so we're finally kind of breaking through that shell. And the apology tour is kind of like that first step. Like, okay, I'm going to take on responsibility for some of the things that I've done in the past. And I think that was the big point of this episode was just, okay, Blitz is trying to redeem himself.
Question I have for both of you. Have you ever had a breakup that was so bad that if you got an invite to a party a la Verosika's party, would you go?
All right. Well, I'm going to make this one quick. Because I started dating my wife in 92, so I'm 14. Not too many parties around that time. Maybe there was a couple before that, but as far as girlfriends go,
I was like, you don't have to drop names that we're not going to bash. I'm just
no. I'm just sitting there trying to think, because it's been a while.
Because I was thinking
I'll go while you're in there.
Go ahead.
All right.
I don't know. No one ever dumped me that I was angry enough that I would want to do a screw you party. That being said, it's a party, and why not go?
Right.
It might be fun. If not, leave.
Yeah, because we do have that scene where Stolas says it's like, well, it might be rude to decline, and then we find out the last party he showed up to was literally a bunch of devil worshippers. I was told there would be cake. I just love that image of like, yeah, it's some bunch of devil worshippers conjuring up Arzgowisha demon number whatever, and they literally show up. It's like, yeah, what? Just like, you have any alcohol? You have anything to drink?
Yeah, it always is funny when you have something like some sort of like great supernatural being, and you just find out they're kind of just like normal people.
Mm-hmm. Well, it made the question. I asked the question because it made me think that watching that episode, I started thinking about my exes and the breakups I've gone through, and some of them were ugly, and some of them, maybe I was on the end of the one who made it ugly. But I started thinking about, it's like, wow, just how badly do you have to feel just completely screwed over, hurt, stepped on, squished like a bug to go through what all of those exes are going through at that party? We see so many of them crying and despair. You have the one, I couldn't tell if it was an imp or a incubi or succubi or whatever, who breaks down, who's playing I think it's like, it's darts. I think it's darts with Blitz, and they start crying after they throw it, and you see other demons comforting them. And yeah, I was just like, wow, how badly did Blitz screw all these people over?
True.
I mean, he said some very nasty things to Stolas when they broke up, like made some very, classist accusations against him, which, were not true. And like that was some pretty hurtful stuff he said there. But
I get this.
Yeah,
like if,
to get to that level of hatred, I still don't think he quite did that. But it's also kind of like, sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
No, I was just going to say, it seems like Blitz is the kind of guy that if you ended a relationship with him, he would have no problem in making you feel insignificant, like you didn't matter.
Yeah, like his defense mechanism. Well, even when he does the apology tour, it's always like, I just want to say that I'm sorry that you're such a raging bitch, that kind of thing. Like it's always this sort of backhanded, like, it's, sorry, but it's not really my fault, it's you kind of thing.
Here's a gift basket with hot sauce and cheese, because apparently that is Brandon Rogers' favorite food, I guess.
Okay, why not?
Well, there's this joke I saw online asking about this, because there's a scene in the Harvest Moon Festival where Blitz is literally eating a piece of cheese with hot sauce on it. And they said they drew that because they were someone was doing an interview with Brandon Rogers, and he literally did that. Just took a piece of cheese, hot sauce, started eating it. So now that it's
like something a demon would eat.
Yeah. But yeah, that's apparently, Brandon Rogers brought that to his character.
Yeah. But I do like the bit where like Stolas, he talks to Stolas at the party, and like Stolas is like, of course people care about you. Like they created this whole party trying to get over you. Like sort of, and that's kind of where we try to have the reveal that, there's a lot of crying and consoling going on. Whereas up to that point, we just saw the partying and stabbing effigies of Blitz.
I do want to see someone make a cake of Blitz.
Yeah.
Someone
probably has.
Oh yeah. Stolas has is it a song? There's a song in this one too, or is he just talking? I remember because I wrote down the quote, and usually when go ahead.
No, it's called "All to You, the Motherfucker." It's the song that he sings with Vraska and Tex. That's his name. In doing background vocals.
Gotcha. At one point, he's either talking to Blitz or he's going through the song. I can't remember. I just wrote it down. But he says, "I want to be someone's someone," and he, that hit me when I heard that, because Stolas obviously he just wanted, and he doesn't feel that from Blitz, and he is working with Blitz trying to make him understand, because he doesn't feel that. And the first step now, of course, is to try and get Blitz to apologize, which, thank goodness, he does. He actually apologizes to Stolas here. And you can tell, and I think and Blitz even says this, that he does not want to be the way that he is. And that was big too. I think, here we have 2 episodes of some really like compelling relationship drama going on. Way different from what I remember from season 1. I mean, I know there was some inkling of that, but my gosh, there is some heavy duty stuff being handled in these first 2 episodes of the second half of the season. So, but yeah, very powerful stuff there. Just watching these 2 work through it, and you're rooting for them to get back together, and it's kind of nice to see at least we're making a little bit of headway here.
Yeah. We'll also say loved the music for this. I love the All To You song. The voice actor for Stolas is such an incredible singer. And I like that throughout the seasons, we get to see him really do a bunch of different ranges with his singing. This one's kind of more of a rock ballad in a way. And it was really impressive. And I do love the conversation between Blitz and Varaska. I even kind of like the fact that you could tell she knew he was there. Yeah. When he goes up to talk to her, she's not like, "What the hell are you doing there?" She's just like, "Yeah, I knew it." And she doesn't rat him out. She doesn't pull everyone. It's like, "Hey, everyone, look who crashed the party." She just talks to him.
Yeah, and I do like the sort of addition that they were in a relationship at some point. That makes things make a bit more sense from when we've seen her before in the show. Yeah, but yeah, I think we sort of see that. It's established that she's the originator of the party. So I think she's sort of had the most time to process things, and again, we get this bit where she kind of gives Blitz some decent advice. Like, she actually tries to help him out a bit, and you get him actually giving her a sincere apology. And then you kind of get that, that line at the end where it's just like, look, sometimes you can't just put it all back together with an apology, and you just kind of have to let the person that you care about enjoy their life. And it starts with saying, hope you have a good night, hope you get laid, kind of thing. Because at this point, Stolas is like making out with another imp on the floor. And I know, like, the thought of someone that you like, being intimate with someone else, it's not a pleasant thought. Like, I did not have the greatest of luck dating when I was, in those days, but so I can kind of relate to the whole, like, why not me kind of attitude. And it's a dark place, but you kind of learn to deal with it.
Definitely. Okay. Well, then let's move on to the best title for an episode ever, Ghost Fuckers.
Yeah, well, I wonder how many extra clicks that title got them.
Based on the name alone, right?
So Blitz is still in depression over the breakup, and at this point he's pretty much spent all the money I.M.P has, and they are just an inch away from closing business when they get an assignment to go to a supposedly haunted hotel, although Millie insists that ghosts aren't real. She's like, what was the line? It's like, when humans die, they either go here or up there. Yeah, there is no in between, and we get arguably my favorite cameo voice actor, John Waters, who comes in playing Ronaldo, the manager at the hotel, who we also find out is an infestor demon, apparently from the Envy Ring, from what I've read. I guess a majority of like those fish demons, like we saw with the Glam twins from the clown competition. I guess they're from Envy too. So, but oh my God, I was so thrilled when I heard John Waters was going to be doing a voice in this. I love him. I love his movies. The man is the human equivalent of a retro plastic bright pink flamingo on the yard of a trashy trailer. That is who John Waters is. How familiar are either of you with his movies?
Red Letter Media did a review of one. I don't think it was Pink Flamingos. It was, I think, one of the other ones. I'd say it had Divine in it, but from what I understand, that doesn't narrow it down a whole bunch.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
That's like trying. It's like saying it's a Tim Burton film. Helena Bonham Carter is in it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Really gonna have to narrow it down. But so I have a little bit of an understanding, but not much. Excuse me.
Yeah. I've just pulled him up on the internet just to take a look, and I recognize him, but I don't can't say that I've watched too much of his filmography. That's for sure.
Okay, so we got Crybaby, Pink Flamingos, the original non-musical Hairspray, Pecker, Cecil B. Demented. This guy's got a huge fan following.
Okay, maybe it was Pink Flamingos. It was like where there was the two families basically competing over who could be the most offensive.
That's Pink Flamingos.
Okay, so that was the one I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen bits of it and it talked about. And I did see the reboot did Hairspray, the one with John Travolta in drag.
Yes, that was the movie adaptation of the musical adaptation of the original film.
Okay, so I don't know if that's enough degrees of separation from John Waters, but
I gotcha.
I kind of get. I think I got a bit of a feel.
Yeah, but no, he is kitsch personified and campiness personified. So when I saw that he was going to be doing a voiceover, I was like, oh my god, that's just too perfect. But probably one of the big moments of this was we actually find out about Millie and Blitz's background, how they met, and how I.M.P essentially got started.
What do they think, Moxie? You're gonna hate him.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. I got a comment here from Apple Caramel. Will we see Eminem Baby in season 3? And hi, it's nice to meet y'all. It's nice to meet you too. And we will talk a little bit more about the Eminem Baby when we discuss Sinmas.
Yeah,
so
so
we will
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We will be coming back to that. But yeah, no, I love his character. I love just some of the dialogue he gives. What was Lance like? Look, just do me a favor and clean up after yourselves. It's like what the ghost killed my last clean lady. All I'm stuck with is this. He shows that weird little gremlin. Guy's like, poor thing can't even blink. Just like, I don't even know how we got there, but I love that scene.
Yeah, he definitely has some talent for performing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, what did you guys think about Millie and Blitz's background story? How he found her, how they started I.M.P. Jesse, I'll go to you. What did you think of that sequence?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to kind of get a little bit of a backstory here. We get a little history between these two. Millie and Blitz, they... Again, we talk about Blitz and how it just seems like he hates everybody and he treats everybody with such disrespect. How could anybody like him? And then we get to see that Millie is one of the few that can, actually put up with his stuff and actually consider him a friend. So it is nice to get
I would
this
add Luna to that list too. Sorry to.
Oh yeah. No, that's fine. But you're seeing these two kind of. Millie knows that Blitz needs to get away. And I think that's why, obviously, she is supporting getting him out. And okay, whatever you want to believe, let's go have some fun. I want you to get your mind right. Stop burying your face in the Cryer's ice cream, which yes, it was Cryer's ice cream that he was eating while he was watching Ghostfuckers.
Yeah, I need to keep watching this until my heart pops, either from from diabetes or I didn't catch it yet. Whatever comes first. And then he puts spray cheese on the ice cream.
He's depressed. He is absolutely in a bad place. So it's good to see Millie know that and be like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let's go do something. Let's try and take your mind off of it and let's indulge something other than your black hole that you're heading down. So yeah, I mean, it was great to kind of see that little bit of history that they've had, plus the adventure that they get to go on here, and just them too.
Yeah, I think one of the things I kind of laughed about when I thought about it more was, again, this is the hotel's called the One Star Wonder, where it's a wonder why we still have 1 star.
Right.
And as someone who travels for a living, I could tell you I have stayed at more than my fair share of hotels like that.
Yeah, it's like the Sleep Easy Motel from The Simpsons. Yeah. Where the sign keeps on flickering on and off. So, yeah.
And at first I thought, because we have this great scene of them getting chased by all the humans because Blitz cannot turn off the Bethany ghost fucker personality at all. And I thought, why the hell are there so many people? What's the hotel's reported to be haunted. Of course there's 1 million people staying there. Probably all freaking Instagram influencers and shit like that. But yeah, I really do. And again, we get a little bit more of a window into Blitz's backstory when we see the Infestor Demon is giving him a vision of his mother, who burns up in the fire, and it was hinted at, and but it wasn't really confirmed in episode 6 that Blitz and Barbed Wire's mother died in the fire that he accidentally started.
Yeah, this Infestor Demon, it really tries to do a number using Blitz and trying to drive a wedge between him and Millie, as a matter of fact. It just to kind of... And one could say that, depression is kind of like that, where it just kind of gets in you and infests you and makes you drive away the people that you were closest to, and you may not want that to happen. But you just feel so unwanted, and all these things start going through your head, which is, my gosh, that's what we start to see is like the Infestor Demons using these visions to clearly, I want to say corrupt, but impact Blitz's emotional state in this episode, along with trying to drive his own his closest friend, really, we find out probably at the end of this, away. And it's sad.
Yeah, he confirms best friend that he doesn't want to sleep with.
Yeah, that's a good friend.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure of that, considering how much he tried to insert himself into.
We're no longer at the end of this one,
relationship.
Right, where she's like at the end of this, she's like, "So you no longer want to be our third?"
Yeah,
and I can't remember if he said yes or no to that, so I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been like a yes, then maybe.
All right.
Yeah. I do love, again, the scenes with the Infestor Demon are so haunting. And one of the things I noticed, I actually thought was kind of a nice touch, is Blitz gets swarmed by all these versions of Millie talking down to him, saying, it's like, you always hurt those around you. Those are actually, how do I put this? What could have happened in previous episodes. When we see one of her on fire, and I realize she's wearing a suit and tie. It's the way she was dressed in the Lululand episode, which the park caught on fire. Mm-hmm. And then you have one where it looks like she's drowned. I'm like, oh my God, that's the spring break episode when she was in the ocean. And you have one where she's got, I think they're like holy arrows in her. That's the cherubs episode. So it's essentially he's being haunted by the worst case scenario of how he could have lost Millie in their line of work. So it's like, even though that didn't happen, that is still scaring him of how he almost could have lost his friend. I thought that was very poignant. And yeah, the scene of him hugging his mother and her burning away, just holy crap. Yeah, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
And I do love, we have the scene where Ronaldo possesses him, but we see kind of in Blitz's head, it's like he's tied up in a movie theater. And you see scenes on the screen, and if you actually go by slowly, you can see scenes from the fire. There is a scene, you see Fizz in what looks like a hospital bed, and Blitz's father yelling at him.
Yeah.
Like he's grabbed, it's like, look what you did! Something like that. And you see scenes of Veroska, and you see what is clearly scenes from previous episodes of people yelling at him and getting mad at him. And you realize just how messed up Blitz kind of is, how much shit he's had to go through in his life.
I mean, it's obvious why this guy's broken. It's something. Everybody has shit that they're dealing with, and when you run into a person that you find is somebody you may not want to talk to, or you may not want to spend much time with, it may be a possibility, and they lash out. It might be something like this because they've gone through so much stuff. You always got to keep in mind that, when you walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, things may look a little bit different. And that's one thing. And I talked about how Blitz was so grating at the beginning of the second half of the season. That's the one thing I kept telling myself is like, look, the guy's broken. He's clearly got some issues, And this is just another one of those episodes that kind of highlights, unfortunately, all of the horrible shit that's happened to him and all the stuff that he's got to try and overcome.
Absolutely. Well, another question. What'd you guys think of the Ghost Fuckers, the musical number that we got at the end?
I just brought the lyrics up because I was looking over them. I won't keep them in here.
Jesse.
But I was looking that up because that was one of my notes, as just so how brilliant that was at the end. We have Ghost Fuckers the musical, and we get the whole shebang. It was so good.
You guys did recognize the voice of Bethany, right?
I did not. Who was it?
That's Charlie from Hazbin Hotel.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that's great.
That's our lead.
That's great. That is great.
Yeah, it did just occur to me that I think her costume might have been based on the school uniforms from Little Witch Academia, if you've ever watched that.
Oh my God.
Boy.
I haven't, but I know what you're talking about because I see a million cosplays of that at the cons. I think you're right. I actually was shocked. That episode came out right before I went to go work the Twin Cities Con. I'm like, if I don't see at least one Bethany Ghost Fucker cosplay, I didn't. I was like, how did I not see one of those? I thought it was
Time to solo.
Yeah. I swear I thought I was going to see a half a dozen of those.
But yeah, I'd be curious to see if that was the inspiration. Also, like for those of you out there, watch Little Witch Academia. It's a great show. Don't let the thumbnail dissuade you.
Duly noted.
Got it. All right, so let's move on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just probably one thing I just would add to that episode is I did love it when the investor demon tries to go after Millie.
Yes.
And then she's like, yeah, I've kind of like already sorted out all my emotional baggage, so I'm good.
Right.
So there's not really, so he's like, oh crap, there's nothing for me here. And then she's like, yeah, and also I know you're possessing Blitz in the fears that hopes that I won't attack him, but thing is, I'm pretty sure his pain threshold is a lot higher than yours, so so
let's
she
go.
Just basically beats the crap out of Blitz.
Right. There's a couple really good fight seasons in the second half, and that's up there for me. I really like that one.
But
I do like it when you kind of have that character being sort of more a bit rational and kind of like a character that actually has like their stuff together. Like, it's good to have characters that have things to work on too. But yeah, just like every time like you've sort of seen that whole like dark malevolent demon force or whatever it is in a show where it's like preying on the lead character's insecurities, and they're just like, I know I'm like that. Like that's my life here. Like it's okay. Like I'm dealing with it. It's
Right.
like, crap.
I hate to say, it reminds me of an episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic when Discord, voiced by John Delancey, who can do no wrong, is trying to manipulate the characters to get them to turn on one another, and he goes to Fluttershy. Who's very shy and timid and talks very softly, and he's trying so hard to poke around. It's like, it must really hurt you how your friends think that you're just so weak. And she's like, no, I know I'm weak, and I'm so grateful my friends are there for me, and nothing works. And he's like, oh my God.
She's too self-aware.
And Millie has some issues, but she doesn't worry about anything that Blitz might think about this. Like he thinks you're a brute. He thinks you're just the muscle. And she's like, I am the muscle. Yeah, we've always seen that. That's what Millie is. She is there as the muscle. She is there to fight. She is not she's not there for strategy. She's not there to plan things out. She is the gun. She's like, okay, point me in a direction. I'm going to go kill someone. All right, and that moves on to Mastermind. And this is where things really get shaken up as Andraelphus finally gets the ammo he needs to take Stolas down, because apparently Stella is the dumbest freaking character on the planet and didn't think to tell him ages ago that her husband was doing something illegal.
His reaction was so priceless. Like, you are so lucky you're hot. Which is creepy coming from a brother to a sister, but
I was going to say that. There's a creep level in that. My gosh.
Because he says something like that when he's first introduced, when he finds out that she hired Stryker to kill Stolas, and he points out to her, it's like, but if Stolas dies, everything goes to Octavia, and you'll get nothing from the divorce. And it's just like, it takes him forever to get through to her. He's like, oh, you are so lucky you're attractive. It's like, yeah, he knows his sister is a blithering idiot. But Dreyfus puts his plan into action. He has I.M.P arrested, and we actually are introduced to the rest of the 7 deadly sins, minus Lucifer, because we've got a rights embargo going on with Amazon. Lucifer is obviously not going to show up in Helluva Boss quite yet.
Okay.
But I do kind of like the idea that Lucifer's just absent, so like this is kind of hell getting by without him.
I do love that there was a rubber duck on the chair. It's like Lucifer would leave behind one of his ducks. But we are introduced to Satan, Belphegor, and Leviathan, the sins of wrath, sloth, and envy. Those are the last ones.
Mm-hmm.
And Satan is really freaking scary. I'd like to think Satan is more what we imagine when we think of like the devil. It's just that giant flaming dragon. Voiced by Patrick Page, who is practically a legend on Broadway. He's one of the originators of a role on Hadestown, and he originated on the Broadway musical of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay.
I'd like you to imagine Satan singing "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch."
You can do it pretty good.
It does. So I.M.P are put on trial, and we have, like I said, this is all clear. You could tell Andreas has this all planned. He knows exactly how this is going to play out. He has Stryker come in and lie and say that I.M.P hired him to try to kill Stolas.
Yeah, when one of the like star witnesses stops on the stand and says, "What's my line?" You know, maybe some foul play might be afoot.
It might be rigged, right?
But we get really a moving speech from Blitz, who talks about how he tried so hard just to move past his station. And when the others try to vouch for him, he's like, guys, they were never going to listen to us. This isn't going to work. He has accepted that he is going to die.
Well, Satan even says, like, any last words, we'll pretend to listen.
Yeah. And he even sticks up for them and points out, it's like, no, I'm the one who, started I.M.P. They're my staff. And I thought it was kind of interesting. We get a little backstory actually on the history of the imps, because Satan says he created them. And this also kind of made me think about how we see most of the imps actually in Wrath when we saw them in like the Harvest Moon episode and stuff. So, and Satan says he created the imps to be dutiful and to work for him. They are meant to be subservient, which also plays into a lot of this outrage they feel that Blitz would be like, what? I'm trying to start my own business. I'm trying to work for myself. And you get more of why so many characters, when he says that, they're like, imps don't work for themselves. Imps don't start businesses. Imps don't. It's like, he's probably one of the first.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I remember them being so upset that they were operating. Well, I mean, we obviously have the issue with the grimoire, right? That's the big thing. That's the thing that brings us to the table. But we also have, were they saying that they weren't allowed to do this? Is that something that they were also putting them on trial for, is for creating and doing this business? Or was it just mainly because they were going over to Earth without being allowed to do that? I felt like there was something additional to what was going on with the trial too. Maybe I missed something, but anyway, I mean, this is a big step for Blitz and the other imps to actually do something for themselves. It says a lot.
I honestly can't remember. I know that in the past they've said that the transaction between Blitz and Stolas was illegal, and there is a line in, I think it's Truth Seekers, when they get caught by the dorks and Stolas scares them off. What is like? Look, it's like, how many times do I have to tell you? If you get into trouble, I get into trouble.
Right. Yeah, I found it here. So he's accused of stealing the grimoire. Charges also include bringing harm to the prince, which They thought that he was going to try to kill the prince, which and then also going into the mortal realm. So those were the three things that he was being put on trial for. But thank goodness things take a turn during the trial. Thank goodness Stolas steps in.
And Stolas steps in, but it's not a good thing for him because Stolas takes the fall and says that he was the one who created I.M.P. He's the one who plotted to have Blitz and his team go to the human world. It's all on him.
Mm-hmm. Boy, it was rough watching. Blitz is just begging him, "Don't do this. What are you doing this for? You've got so much to." Blitz understands he doesn't have anything to lose. He feels. I think he probably doesn't want to die, but he doesn't want to watch. I think the last thing that he wants to see is Stolas die, which is exactly what everybody is expecting to happen until it doesn't. But
what are you doing?
Right?
Aren't you going to?
Oh no, we actually care about you.
Oh,
right.
Can I go then? That was great.
No, you still fucked up.
But yeah,
You got to be punished.
the part of Stolas' song. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh, had something in my throat there. Where apparently this was like an inner monologue that both characters have, so they didn't actually hear themselves singing, but they both admit their feelings, and it's the first time we actually hear Blitz realize and admit to himself, I do love you, Stolas, and I don't want to live without you. I don't want you to do this. And it's moving. It's like I said, it's the first time Blitz has finally been honest with his feelings for him.
It took this big of a show of love, I guess is what I would call it, to finally make Blitz realize, okay, I love this. I love Stolas as well. Again, we're at it's the Blitz Stolas show this second half of the season. We kind of get a little bit of a respite, but we're still kind of dealing with the back stuff on the previous episode. It's still kind of on the back burner, but we're hard into it here with this episode, and I think it comes to I think it comes to a climax here when you finally get to see both of these people, both Stolas and Blitz, realize what they mean to each other, and watching what the other person would do for them, which is very moving.
Absolutely. Not to mention, we get to see just how much I.M.P. all love each other. I think this is the first time that Luna openly calls her father Dad.
Yeah, right here. I mean, when that happened, and she said, she called her dad, and was just thankful that he's not dead. It was sweet. It was very sweet.
And that his final request was telling Moxie and Millie to take care of her. Just so touching.
It was.
We also get another character of Visago, another member of the Ars Goetia, voiced by Harvey. Oh my God, I always massacre the pronunciations. In Gullion, actor most famous for What We Do in the Shadows. Also been doing a number of vocal appearances. My personal favorite was his role in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Was really good in that. And we do have confirmation that he will be back in season 3.
Okay.
So, good.
Yeah, they said they've recorded more lines for him, and we are going to see that character show back up, which I do love. I want to see more of the Ars Goetia. So far Stella is not mentioned in the Ars Goetia. She's a fictional character, but so far Stolas and Andrealphus and Visaga are the only ones from the actual publications that we've been introduced to. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. And it ends with, Stolas is not killed, but he is banished for 100 years. He has no powers. He has no wealth. He has no he's stripped of his rights, banished from his castle. He has nothing. And the episode ends with Stolas taking him in, realizing he has nowhere else to go. And they kind of pretty much just admit, it's like, they love each other, and Blitz has no problems taking Stolas in his time of need now.
Which is great. I mean, they're not in the best economic situation, but my goodness, they have each other, which for Stolas, I mean, he's got to try to deal with everything that he's lost, but also recognize what he's kind of gained in the process. And we're kind of at the beginning of that arc here. But yeah, he lost all his powers. And obviously the biggest thing, I don't think he could probably care less about his powers. It's his daughter.
Yeah.
You know, it's his daughter that is really the one thing that he is regretting was a loss in this whole transaction. But still, that's rough. I mean, that's a tough situation to be in.
Absolutely. And based on that, actually, I would like to go ahead and jump into the final episode of the season. That's Sinsmiths. And I want to go ahead. We're going to talk about most of it, but I want to start talking about one of the main plot points of this. So, yes, Stolas is banned from contacting his daughter. Get that horrible scene of him trying to call her and Stella taking away Octavia's phone, and that haughty laugh of hers.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think what bothers me so much about that whole scene, which is, it's not a very long scene, but it disturbs me. It's the fact that she laughs. She's got the cell phone, and she's just kind of yelling and screaming about how she thinks it's hilarious that Stolas
He's
wants
still
to talk.
calling her after all this time, and we're never going to let him talk to it.
And
hilarious. Oh God, the way they say that. Ugh.
And her daughter's like right there. That's what bothered me. I mean, I can understand, okay, taking a little bit of joy in the fact that this person is wanting something and you're taking that away from them, but not understanding how it's impacting your daughter, you know, your child. That's what bothered me the most about it, was just watching her do this and have the sheer joy of keeping her daughter from her father. It was just, I hated it. That made me hate Stella so much. I couldn't stand her.
And honestly, I don't think Stella's ever really cared for Octavia.
And that's
you
sad.
know.
All we get is like the bit where we think Stolas is going to get executed, and like the TV sort of cuts off, and Octavia, like sort of, you know, runs to her mom, and like she sort of gives her like a loving mother's hug, and then we kind of get the, you know, while Octavia's face is buried in her chest, that sort of, you know, like grin, like got him. Evil.
Yeah, but I mean, I even think back to season 1 in that flashback in Lululand when Via has that nightmare and she's calling out, "Mother, Father, where are you?" And Stolas wakes up and he tells Stella's like, "Our daughter's calling for us," and she's like, "Ugh, you go take care of it." And I guess
to be fair, as a parent, this happens. right, Jesse? Yes.
Yes, it does.
It's like, who's going to move first? Are you going to move first? I'm going to move first. Like,
I'm still asleep. Okay. Pretend you're asleep.
See, that's the thing, is that when I first watched that episode, I thought exactly the same thing. You know, it's like, it's that I don't have kids. I do have pets, and I do have a couple of times I can remember where it's like, puppy wants to go outside. You're closer to the door. You know, so I
yes. Now that we have more information,
does play a factor.
But now we've seen more. I mean, hell, you even have the line in which episode? The circus, where Stella is talking to the other rich demons, and she's like, "What was that?" It's like, "I'm just so glad that one of my eggs I finally dropped an egg or something, so I didn't have to pretend to want to fuck his scrawny ass." Or so yeah, it's like you just referred to your daughter like that. It's like, it's like you basically said the only reason you slept with your husband was to produce an heir, and you're acting like, oh, that burden's finally done, but that's still your daughter.
Yeah, she's a piece of work.
So you got Taylor Edwards' comments like, Stella's never really cared about her daughter. She's only keeping her around just to hurt Stolas. And yeah, I agree.
Stupid autocorrect.
Yeah, I really do not believe that Stella has ever truly cared for her daughter. She
Yeah.
probably just sees her as, I had to have an egg, I had to provide an heir for the Asgoisha. That's the only reason you're here. You know, just really just makes you hate the character even more.
Oh, totally. I mean, the
Well-
only saving grace is she is just so shallow that she can't even be devious about things.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah,
Right.
like you hear about those parents where they break up and like one parent or both parents will try and poison the children against the other, like sort of tell them things like, oh, they don't want to see you, and that kind of things like that. That is
Right.
like the worst thing you could ever possibly do to a parent, is to poison their child against them. But
Mhm.
but here she's just sitting there like with a glass of wine in the kitchen, just like bellowing out, he's still trying to call her. This is hilarious. He must be so depressed. Like, in fact, when Octavia started to sort of sing her, I'm not gonna like talk to my dad anymore song. I'm like, why? Like, it's so obvious that her mom is keeping her
That's see
separated.
that right.
I
That's
mean,
what kind of
yeah.
bothered me, was the fact that she starts singing "I Will Be Okay" is I think the name of the song, and
Yeah.
I was really hoping Octavia would kind of see through her mom's bullshit, but
I think she
kind
does,
of doesn't.
because like in that, like, the problem is in that song, all the information we have is just Stella's cackling, but it's only later on, we're skipping to the end of the episode, where Stolas finally is able to talk to her, and she's like, you left me to like die for that imp, and like, what about me? Like, don't you love me? Like, you were willing to give your life for this other person without any thought of like me being without you.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
So Helva Hazbin says, I wish Octavia understood. Yeah, I agree. But I would say, like, I always say this thing is like, I don't expect characters to act perfectly logical in all their decision making, but I expect for whatever they do, even if it is a illogical act, to make sense with that character. And in this case, Octavia, she's a teenage girl. She's a rich kid who probably doesn't get out much, and like, her parents have had this miserable relationship for pretty much all her life. She's probably never been in love with anyone before. Like, as far as we know, Luna's the only character she's actually interacted with outside of like Stolas and Stella. So it makes sense that she looks at her dad and she's like, why would you do this? Why is this imp so important to you? Whereas I need you. Because I don't think she's lived long enough to really understand what it's like. Like, she finds his like depression medications, like, was like, were you like taking happy pills because because of me, because you were
It's like,
staying with mom?
it's like, did you literally just stay married to mom all this time for me? And unfortunately, she's kind of right.
Yeah, like, I don't have much experience with where she is, but I assume like that's probably something that children in that situation would think, is like, mommy and daddy are miserable because of me, and that's gotta be that's gotta do something not too good to your psyche.
Right.
Sorry, back to you, Alexis.
Well, you're absolutely right. A lot of parents will stay married and stay in unhappy marriages because they think that it's best for the child. And unfortunately, that is not what's best for the child, because the child is going to go with what Octavia's feeling. It's like, did you take these? Like, did you stick around just for me? And it also goes back to the line from Lululand when Octavia storms off and Stolas finds her in the funhouse. And she says to him, are you going to leave me? Are you going to run away where I can't find you? Stolas, none of them knew that he was going to get pardoned from being executed. He went in fully expecting to die. And now, I'm not saying that what Stolas did was wrong. He did the right thing, sticking up and saving Blitz from death. But he effectively made the decision right there. He was leaving Octavia either by banishment or by death. He was leaving his daughter for Blitz. And that is what Octavia has always been scared of. She has always been terrified her father was going to leave her. And he technically did.
Yeah. So I understood her perspective and why she was being the way she was. And of course, teenage girl, she's going to be pretty damn dramatic and extreme about such things. And, like, maybe, and yeah, like I don't know what's gonna, I'm hoping that things work out in the next season. I don't know. I think they do have an end point.
I think they've talked about the show's going to go on for 4 seasons. Is the plan that I've heard?
Yeah, because I remember hearing something. I read this on the internet, so it must be true, right? Social media, especially. I think Brandon Rogers sort of said that he had recorded his last lines as Blitz, so I guess it's all in the can. So, but yeah, I don't know how many seasons worth that was, but yeah, like I think you'd think that eventually Octavia would get into a relationship with someone and sort of understand a bit more of, oh, this is what Dad was going through. This it's like now I understand a bit more why he made that decision, and she'd be able to sort of understand and forgive him and maybe come back. But we'll have to see how it goes.
I think that this whole discussion right here is one of the ways that Helluva Boss kind of shines. It has this as silly as this show is, it's very deep, but this right here showing how a complicated relationship gets blown up by certain decisions that are being made, whether they're right or wrong. It's never always, it's usually a gray area.
Yeah, there's some nuance to this. Relationships are complicated.
And that's what makes this show great. That specific element right there, that nothing is going to be cut and dry. Nobody's walking away from what happened without some type of either resentment or hurt going on, no matter what you want. And that's a great representation of what happens in the real world. So yeah, I definitely commend this second half of the season. This is clearly just this part right here really hammers home why Sensuous is my favorite episode out of this season.
Just before we continue, like Taylor, sorry, I missed your last line there.
Taylor Edwards,
Taylor Edwards, mentions that he's not sure why Osmodeus and Beelzebub. Man, the autocorrect on these
Osmosis and Beelzebub. I know.
I saw that movie.
Great.
Don't worry, Taylor. I'm sure it's autocorrect. Yeah, we're not making fun of your comment here. It's just one of those things. Yeah, why they didn't stand up for Blitz. Well, I remember that like they did. It's just they were pretty much shouted down immediately. Like I think it was Mamo was just like, "Oh, shut up, you two!" Everybody knows that you're sympathetic to the lower classes, sort of thing. And it's kind of hard to know because we don't really know many of the other. I'm not sure if they're overlords, but the high-ranking demons,
the sins, or because by this point, Osmodeus and Fizzarelli's relationship is public, and I guess Beelzebub and Tex have never hid their relationship because Tex was very open about, it's like, this is my girlfriend, Queen Bee. So I'm guessing they didn't hide it. So they clearly have no qualms about hanging out with imps and hellhounds.
Yeah. I think Beelzebub was just like, look, I've been with this imp. Well, like I know this imp. Yeah, he's got his issues, but he's not like he's not this like mastermind of criminality who would try and assassinate an Ars Goretia and so on and so forth.
And Osmodeus is also, it's like, come on, let's hear him out. Because he's worked with Blitz as well. He hired him to protect Fizz during the clown pageant. So, but they do
they get shouted down almost instantly. And that's it. It's kind of a bit tricky because the only voice you hear is Mamo's. And like, I don't think anybody likes Mamo, but maybe if they had added in some of the other sins chiming in too, like, shut up sort of thing, then it would have been a bit more like, okay, that's, all they could do. Whereas here it comes off like maybe they could have done a bit more.
They do put it to a vote and they say it's like, who actually wants to hear him out? And what is like, okay. And who wants to, kill this imp and then go get lunch? And like the majority of them are just it's like, yay, lunch.
Yes. Okay.
The one other thing about the episode I never understood, everyone saw Stolas stand up for Blitz, risking his life for him, but he's still getting all this hate.
Yeah, I assume you're talking about the imps. Please clarify here. Because like at the end of that episode when they go back to Imp Town, everyone's like, hanging Blitz banners from their balconies, like, go Blitz, you told them, you stood up for Imp kind. And then we just see like Stolas getting milkshakes and whatnot thrown at him, and it just like he put his life on the line for this guy. Like, cut him some slack, guys. Like,
I think it partially is just a class struggle thing.
Yeah,
I think
right.
part of I could be wrong, but I think part of it is just, you know, I do think a lot of the imps look down on the Ars Goetia, and with
Or-
all
yeah,
due respect, you know, I know that Stolas always says he doesn't think himself more highly of others, but we have seen so many times in this series where he's doing things with pretty much abusing imps. I still remember it's the episode where he's on the phone with Stella and getting all of her stuff out of the house. He's not holding the phone. He's holding an imp who's holding the phone. And he's
Right.
like they're just like death gripping this poor imp, screaming into the phone. You know, it's like I don't think Stolas has ever realized just how much he is in fact stepping on the lower class. He says, like, I don't think I'm better than anyone. It's like, no, you don't think, but you do act like it.
I mean, he has been born into that culture and that life. So yeah, like he's I think he's operating more out of ignorance, or just this is the way things are. And I do kind of wonder if, like, in the future seasons, we're going to see a bit more of like Stolas kind of learning, you know, how the other half lives, sort of thing, and
Right.
that will sort of affect his character going forward.
And yeah, the Hella Hazbin mentions that in Hazbin Hotel when they're talking about it. I know what you're talking about in the pilot episode when they're talking about Alistair. You have the big speech that Vaggie is giving about him. You see Visago. I hate to admit it, I think that was VivziePop reusing artwork imagery. I don't think maybe Visago was originally intended to appear in Hazbin Hotel, and they decided to move him back to Helluva Boss. So I think he is an Ars Goetia, not an Overlord. So yeah, clarification for Taylor. Yes, the imps are hating on him, even though he risked his life and status to save him.
Oh, good. Thanks for clarifying that. So I got it right. But yes, I also noticed the same thing. Whereas I thought, like, man, Stolas is getting a bit of unfair imp hate.
Well, I think what they're realizing, and I definitely agree that it's a class situation, because
The metaphor is not subtle.
like they're expecting, if it would have been the imp, he would have been dead. But now, it turns out it's Stolas. Well, he's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
it might
it's
be
just a
like,
little
why,
punishment.
it's like, why are they being cruel to Stolas? Well, because they can. How often do you get the chance to?
Right.
To mock the millionaires.
To mock the millionaires.
Hashtag eat the rich.
Yeah. Oddly enough, most of the people I see saying that slogan are pretty well off.
There is sadly some truth to that.
I just remember one of the leaders of our more left-leaning parties was doing an eat the rich thing wearing a $20,000 Rolex. You know, it's just like, you're looking pretty juicy there, buddy.
Grab me a fork.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah. It's like, are you sure you guys have thought this one through?
Sinmas also contains, in my opinion, one of the best action sequences of the series so far, as we have I.M.P. facing down Andrealphus, who apparently plays Yu-Gi-Oh! And pulled out the Blue Eyes White Dragon card.
Oh yeah, they pulled out all the stops on the animation budget for that episode.
What did you guys think about Luna's transformation? I don't know if this is something just special to her or if all hellhounds can do this, but she becomes much more of a hellhound
Right.
in this episode, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, it took me a little bit by surprise there watching that. That whole fight scene. It, just like you said, they pull out all the stops, and we get some like you're pointing at the screen and you're cheering, and you see a lot of new things. So yeah, pretty cool.
Absolutely. And who comes to this rescue? It is Octavia, who she's probably still mad at her father, but that doesn't mean she wants him to die.
Yeah, no, she's not crazy. Right. She's just an angry teenager.
Yeah.
I realize it can be a very fine line between the two, but
no, and I did love that we actually get to see more of her controlling her powers. The only time we've really seen her do magic before was in the LA episode, where it's like, sweetie, you didn't really know what you were doing there, and that's why you ended up in the hellhole that is LA. Sorry, work there, never going back there again.
Yeah. There should have been a joke about like, oh man, this is worse than hell. Can we go back?
There was a line that when they show up, Blitz says, "Huh, this really isn't that much different than hell."
Oh, right. Yeah.
I love that
I
line.
feel so much at home.
Pretty much. Hello, Hazbin comments like, yeah, Luna almost did. Well, yeah, because Blitz is riding her like a horse into battle with a freaking, what was it, like a lance? like the giant lance? And that great line from, oh no, yeah, first Moxie's riding her to give Blitz his sword. And what's the line? It's like, the prince's knight needs his weapon, needs his sword. It's like, oh my God, that's so cute.
Very Moxie.
And it essentially ends with a draw because Andrealphus realizes that he's getting his ass kicked by imps and he really doesn't want that to be public.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm with Taylor. It was very satisfying seeing Stolas beat up Andrealphus. That scene where Andrealphus is blocking him and Stolas has just, he's had it. He's just like, I'm sick to death of this shit.
He is
very, very reminiscent of Adam and Lucifer from Hazbin Hotel. Just,
Right.
Yeah, that was very satisfying just watching him wail on his brother-in-law like that, to the point that he picks up that giant ice statue, just smashes it on his head. It's like, oh yes, one more for me, Stolas.
You'd think at the trial they could have say, wait a minute, the guy doing the prosecution is the guy who stands to like win the most from this case. Maybe something's up.
Yeah, you gotta wonder at any point if why. I think the thing that bothered me was that Stolas didn't say why. I'm guessing he missed the part about Stryker pointing the finger at Blitz, because he at no point says, "Oh, and by the way, Stella's the one who paid Stryker, not Blitz," because he knows.
Actually find it. Did he know?
Yeah, because when he's kidnapped and held by Stryker, actually, so my wife paid you for this, huh? And Stryker's like, yep. And then it's like, good news, Your Highness, your wife doesn't want you dead. He's like, yeah, he knew that Stella was the one who was trying to kill him.
It's been a while.
So, but I'm guessing he just missed that part on the TV because they show him just turning it on right before the freaking execution. So I guess he missed the finer details. But that also leads us to the next big plot reveal. Millie is pregnant.
When she threw up, I mean, it's so funny because you watch so much TV. As soon as like some lady grabs her stomach and I'm not feeling so well. Oh, pregnancies are coming. That's the first thing that was happening here. As soon as she threw up, I was like, oh, what is going on? And I think she blamed it on the environment or something like that. But then I was like, I know better. So yeah.
I think I said the same thing because I thought at first I thought she threw up because they went to Earth during Christmas and she looked over and saw the little snow angel and puked. And I thought that was just, oh, look, the little demon doesn't like the angel. Bleh. But then, she's like, no, I'm fine. It's the call. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, it's like, no. It's like, if they had just left it alone, I wouldn't have assumed. But the fact that they brought attention to him, like, nope, she's pregnant. And I guess I'm trying to figure out what she's going to do about it because of her reaction. We see that she is really upset. She calls her sister, asking for advice, but then she comes back in smiling and tells Moxie how much she loves him. So, where do you guys think the story arc is going? I'm assuming she's going to keep the baby, but
that's going to be clearly a big piece probably in the first few episodes of the next season, I would assume, is her revealing it. And it's interesting that she's trying to keep it a secret. You're kind of wondering why she's doing that. Is she worried about how Moxie is going to react, or is it a situation where she's maybe considering having the baby? I don't know. I don't know what is. It's going to be interesting. Those are the two things I see, though. I see it's a situation where she's kind of scared of bringing this child into this world, and she's very. You would think that she would immediately have told Moxie, because we've talked about how much they love each other, and they got this great relationship going on. And it is kind of scary to think like, well, I shouldn't say it's scary. It's probably normal. I mean, I imagine it's pretty normal to think like, okay, what is this person going to think of me? Is it going, I will tell you, I know one thing that's probably going through her head for a cartoon character that has been created is she's probably afraid of how it's going to change her relationship with her significant other. Because that is, when my wife was pregnant, I remember that was going through my head. Like, what is this going to do to us? We are going to change. It's fundamental that we have to change because we now have a person that we both have to care for and we both have to love. And I remember, I want to get real personal here. I remember when my wife told me, I told her how scared I was. And I said, I don't know if I have enough love for another person, which was the stupidest thing I could say, but it was a real fear that I had. So, it was something like, am I able to love another person as much as I love my wife? Is that something that it's real easy to do? But for some reason, as a stupid kid, when you find out that you're going to have a child, those are thoughts that go through your head, and those are words that come out of your mouth sometimes. And so that something is going to change, and that's probably why she's kind of keeping it on the down low, because she's afraid of how it's going to affect her and Moxie. So that's my thoughts on it. Dave, I think you might have some thoughts.
You've sort of covered most of it. Like, yeah, it's a big event, and it's a lot of like reality hitting you like regardless of how much you do or do not want a kid, it's a change, and it's a change, and it's one that there's no going back from no matter what you do. And so like it's such a big thing that there's so many possible explanations for why Millie is reacting the way that she is, and they cover a whole variety of situations. Like I can't say any one way or another what she's going to do at this point, because we haven't really been given that information. And like the only thing I kind of thought was like, why is she calling her sister and not talking to Moxie? He's the person who's like the most involved in this.
Right.
Yeah.
I think part of what I caught off of it was.
But then again, I'm a man, so it's like talk to me.
No, I would definitely call my sister if I got pregnant. But I think part of it is also her fear of what this is going to do to her working with I.M.P. I mean, again, she's the muscle. She is the one who runs in swinging the axe. She very rarely is the one on the sides with the gun. She's not the sniper. She's the one who goes in fists up, ready to fight.
Yeah.
Can't really do that when you're pregnant, and you can't really do that while you're taking care of a child. So maybe, and in fact, what Helluva Hazbin, I wonder if she thinks I'm assuming you mean Moxie, is going to be mad or reject her, but she might just think people will look down on her and think she's not a good fighter anymore. So I wonder, and it's like, can she continue working with I.M.P if she's pregnant and if they have a child? I mean, I don't know if these two make enough money for a babysitter, and Lord knows I don't see Luna doing babysitting.
That would be an interesting thing to see, but yeah. Also, just don't know what imps are like dealing with like how they have babies. Like, we're assuming that they're pretty much like humans.
But it's like, so how's this? It's not just how's this going to affect her and Moxie's relationship, but their marriage. It's also how's this going to affect their business.
Yeah, you're true.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and it's like I say, there's a whole lot of things that it could be, and it's hard to know which one it is, and I'm just wait and see. But I do hope that she does have the baby, and it's raised by her and Moxie and the Imp family or the I.M.P family, and it's a very wholesome, positive depiction of parenthood. That you can have a baby and still be a kick-ass assassin working from hell.
Right.
Life goals, right?
Yeah.
Someone actually made a suggestion I liked, that maybe one of the reasons she was calling her sister was that maybe Sally Mae can fill in for her, for I.M.P.
Okay.
For a little bit. We have seen a little bit more of Sally Mae. I love that character, actually. I think she's a lot of fun. So maybe she could come in and help out a little bit, or maybe she can move to Pride and become and help take care of the baby while Moxie and Millie are still working. So, and yeah, Taylor, it's personally Moxie and Millie will be great. I agree. I think those two are going to be awesome parents. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them as parents. I think this is going to be a fun evolution of the characters. So, did anyone want to talk about any more of Sid's, or was there anything we missed with Mastermind before we move on?
Great song. That's like the one song from the season that I keep getting stuck in my head.
Which one?
The Mastermind song.
Oh, yes.
I'll just be like, work that, then I am the mastermind. Oh, there it is again. Yeah.
It's something about Patrick Page's voice, that deep, I don't know if it's a bass or a baritone. I am horribly tone deaf, so I don't know what you'd classify it as, but it's something about that deepness, just it sticks with you. You know? I think Thurles Ravenscroft would be proud.
Yeah, no, that was definitely the musical highlight of the season for me. Was that delivery? But yeah, I think go ahead, Jesse.
I was just gonna say, as far as Sinsmas goes, we talked about some of the big reveals, but I think you'd mentioned it earlier, David, how we're going to see how Stolas is living on the other side of things now with Blitz. You know, we opened that episode with Blitz cooking pancakes and eggs and all sorts of crazy stuff for him and Stolas. So we're going to see Blitz and Stolas together working through some of this. And that's going to be, I think, a lot of what we see in season 3 as well. These two trying to deal with what happened. And I mean, I'm still devastated as to what happened between Octavia and Stolas. That's what the one thing I want to see that gets addressed for sure in season 3. I want to see Octavia and Stolas.
Yeah. Just a question for you. Like, did you notice that after you became a parent that like the way that you respond to dramatizations of children and parents really changes? Like it hits a lot harder now.
Oh yeah. It does. I mean, and I think that's when we talked about the first season. That was one of the standout moments. Was just watching Stolas.
Because usually, like she's having like anxiety issues about her parents' relationship. Now it's just like, oh god, like if that was my daughter,
it would have never hit me like that if I didn't have kids.
It's like, I need to sit down here and process this a bit. Like it's
right.
Okay, so that is a thing that happens.
Absolutely, and it happens with, if I remember, violence in television for some reason changed for me a little bit for a little while. Like I was like, oh my gosh, oh goodness, I would have never hit me if I didn't have a kid like that. So I completely pick up what you're putting down there, sir.
Yeah.
And I do like Helluva Hazbin's comment that we need a crossover between Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel, and we do. Unfortunately, it's not. I don't know if it's going to happen because, again, Amazon Prime now has the rights to the characters from Hazbin Hotel. Hence why Lucifer didn't show up at the hearing. I would love, even if it's an unofficial crossover, but I would love to see these two sets of characters interact.
Yeah,
someday.
I remember like in the pilot for Hazbin Hotel when Charlie does, the inside of every demon is a rainbow song. There is an imp there that looks an awful lot like Blitz. Like I'm pretty sure that art, at the very least, that art was probably used as part of Blitz with a bit of refinement. But
there's also a Hellhound that looks almost like exactly like Luna. Yeah,
that's the best. But it would be cool to see a crossover if done right. But like again, we can. There's an art to a good crossover, especially if you're dealing with people who aren't familiar with the other show.
Yeah, it's tough to do. It's tough to do.
Yeah. But like it would be cool to see these characters sort of, like mingling together in an organic fashion. Definitely. Like the other thing else I would say about Sinsmas is I did like sort of we get the end where you do have sort of Stolas and Blitz have managed to get their relationship straightened out for the most part. And like where you have Stolas on the balcony kind of just smoking and thinking about things, and Blitz coming out to comfort him and sort of say like, things suck right now, but you never know, like we could there could be a way forward. And just it was nice that you finally got to see the two of them in a good relationship. That was sort of the
Right.
The nice part of it. And then we'll have to see how things go with Octavia and Barb in future seasons.
It is tragically poetic in a way that now that Blitz has finally has his heart open and is ready to accept a relationship, Stolas is going through literal hell and is probably not in the best place right now. For one, in that final shot, Blitz hugs him and Stolas doesn't hug back. He's just looking up at the sky with his arms at his side. He's been through so much.
Yeah, and like these things, you don't get over them overnight.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for Blitz.
Yeah, but I think they were in a relatively good place between those two characters. And sorry, I had one more thing to say there. Okay, I keep moving on. I'll get back to it when it pops back into my brain.
Yeah, I did love the dance between the two of them and how cute it is that Blitz has to stand on the
railing.
I can't dance with you if I'm down there. It's just, I don't know. It's so cute.
It's a great moment.
It was nice to give them something warm and fuzzy to end off on. And of course there are still problems, but that's how shows work.
Yeah, compared to the way we opened up the second half, we're at a complete opposite now. Both of them are there for each other instead of fighting, and so it's kind of like you reached that arc this season for sure. So back to Taylor's he's worried about Octavia, and that I think he's implying that Stella and the uncle might try and kill her so that they can inherit her share of things. I mean, they only have 100 years, which I don't know how much 100 years is to a mortal demon, but we'll see. Apparently it's enough for Stolas to be really upset about. So that could be it. I'm kind of almost wondering if she starts to realize that, oh wait, I'm in trouble. And I was almost thinking that, because we know that there's a lot of imps in the house as staff. And Stolas is now living amongst the imps, so I almost kind of wonder if that could be a communications channel, because of course Stella she's not going to pick up on that at all, because they're imps.
Like we confirmed, she is an idiot.
She's dumb.
Yeah, and even I forget the uncle's name. Andrea. I don't think he would ever think that the imps could be involved in anything.
Yeah, Helluva has been commenting. I believe Blitz and Stolas can have a relationship because Blitz can't say he's higher than him now. And I do kind of love how this calls back to the first episode of season 2 when we see them as children. When when Blitz is talking about his business, and he actually says to Stolas, "And I'll hire you," and Stolas like, "Well, I hope I qualify." And they're joking about, but yeah, Stolas is now working as a receptionist for I.M.P.
I'm poor.
God. And again, just so more of their interactions are so cute. Just the way that you have the scene of them eating breakfast, and Blitz is asking Stolas what he usually eats, and Stolas is rattling off it's a kale salad or fire koi, and you would expect so many people would write Blitz is okay, kind of disgusted and put off, just oh God, how snobby. He doesn't act like that at all. He's sitting there just okay, yeah, well, can I get something that I can afford? And he freaking gets attacked by a rat for Stolas for a snack. It's just so cute. He, so much of the antagonism of why Blitz was afraid to pursue a relationship with Stolas was that Stolas was higher than him. He was a Goetia. And now it's just okay, well, we can work around this. And he's just so open about it now. And I love that. It's so cute. Just like I said, to see them really trying. So, but it's going to, unfortunately, it's probably going to be over a year before we get season 3. VivziePop confirmed on her Blue Sky account that it's going to take it some time, but they have started a new avenue, which we got to see a little bit of in 2024, and that is the Helluva Shorts. These are little shorter mini episodes that we get, and we're apparently going to get a lot of those this year. While I guess 2025 is going to be a very big production year for SpindleHorse. So they're going to be releasing these while they work on season 3 and getting that. And I don't know when Hazbin Hotel season 2 is coming out. So I don't know if they're still working on that or not. But we get our 4-episode Hell's Bells, Mission Antarctica, Mission Wea Boo Boo, and Mission Chupacabras. And I actually remember something, David, you said last time we reviewed Helluva Boss. You talked about how you really liked the camping episode because you wanted more day in the life of I.M.P. You liked actually seeing more of their clientele and what they do for their job. And I think they may have been listening because that's what we got more of.
Yeah. I don't think I'm the only person with that criticism. Not to say that it makes the show bad. It's just that was sort of how the show's initially built, is it's adventures in the mortal realm with these demons killing people, and then you just sort of had the Stolas relationship as part of it, and then the relationship kind of just took over the show.
So we start off with Hell's Bells. This was actually written by Morgana Ignis, I think is how you pronounce her last name, the voice actress for Sally Mae.
Okay.
This is about Sally Mae. She spends a day in Imp City with Millie, and they spend some time together, and they kind of just are open with each other about how they don't get to see each other very often, and it's really rough for both of them, and they were going to try to spend more time together and be closer. So I freaking love that the spa they go to is Bethany's. It's like that was the name of the oh my god, the woman who would like bathe in virgin's blood. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Oh my god, Google, help me.
Google. Who is the woman that bathes in blood?
The Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory. That's it, Bathory. Yeah, the Bloody Countess. Ew. So, yeah, I love that the spa was named after her. I've mentioned this before, but I love how much attention VivziePop puts into all these background jokes and these little hints and everything. That kind of stuff always makes me smile. So, Jesse, what did you think of Hell's Bells for the first short?
Yeah, nice little short here. These were, I think, the longest one was like maybe 6 minutes. They were really, I mean, and usually the ending of these things are probably like 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds of credits. So these are real quick in, quick out. And yeah, a day in the life of Millie getting to hang out with her sister, which, this was neat to just watch these people these siblings come together and have a good time and kind of work through some of their stuff. I went going to college was probably about the longest time that I ever spent away from my family. But when you well, I shouldn't say that because I did move for a couple years to a different location, and it's kind of tough when you lose a family member to just somebody leaving and going on and doing something with their life. Especially a sibling. And when they come back, it's great to have something fun to do and then kind of talk about how much you miss them. And that's pretty much what you got here. And it sounds like Millie's going to try and make an effort to spend some more time with her sister, which is going to be great. So, I mean, yeah, it's a great short. I not much else to say for me.
Alex, I really do hope we see more of Sally Mae in the upcoming shorts in the next season. She's been a fan favorite for a long time, especially for the representation of transgender characters in animation, voiced by a transgender actress, which is awesome. Like I said, we need more representation like that. I still love her appearance in the Harvest Moon Festival. It's like, your sister doesn't have a body count. She so doesn't count if they don't find the bodies. That is still one of my favorite deliveries. But yeah, it was really fun. But then we move on to Operation Antarctica, which I think they were trying to do like kind of an homage to The Thing. because they show up and everyone's already dead. And I was just like, part of me just was like I was like, it's like, so you turn over there and you're going to see Kurt Russell and Keith David's bodies, right?
That's what I was half expecting.
Well, they do have Keith David.
On the other show, yes, they do.
Yeah. They do.
There's your crossover.
Yeah. This was a nice, fun, violent episode. You know, we got to watch some a lot of gunplay. It was pretty crazy. I mean, there's not a lot of plot or character development here as far as I remember. But other than the fact that, you know, this is the penguin one, right? Like where all the penguins are coming down from the, you know, other than the fact that we understand that penguins have a filthy mouth. Because there's a lot of slurs.
And actually, the part that made me laugh the hardest was Blitz still trying to figure out how to operate as Asmodean Crystal.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
It's like, spell the alphabet A, B with your tongue. Oh my God, that was great. It's like, how do you not know how to do this?
He's like,
let me do it.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you not know how to do this? I'm a fucking top. I love that.
Get down. My gosh.
Oh my God, that was so funny. That scene was so great that they actually released a enamel pin of Moxie going to town on the crystal.
Are you serious?
As I'm serious. I don't know if it's still available in the Shark Robot store or not, but they released it.
That's great.
They released that and one of the penguin with slurs above it.
I want that. Get me that one.
Belated Christmas present. Got it.
Yeah, put it on the list.
You know, it's so funny that these shorts, I think, are some of the funniest moments in this season, as opposed to the emotional gut punching that we got with the actual series. And then we watched the shorts, because I have watched, I watch these shorts all the time, and I watch the episodes multiple times, but I have watched the shorts way more than the actual episodes. I have watched, especially these last two, Mission Weeaboo and Mission Chupacabra. I swear to God, they were. It's like, you guys pay way too much attention to the fan art. Because Mission Weeaboo, it's like there are so many people who are watching this and getting called out. And oh my God, guys, the amount of Emberlyn cosplays
had to have happened. That was
both in her human form and in her demon form.
Are you sure those are cosplays, or just did people come wearing what they usually wear? Because you got to admit that was pretty spot on.
I have that hoodie and I have that skirt. I don't have the tights.
Okay,
that's I have seen so many girls wearing those exact tights.
Yeah.
I love the mom and dad sitting downstairs. You know, I guess we're moving on to Weeaboo here. I don't know, but you know, the mom and dad sitting downstairs, and the dad goes, "She's watching them hentais again," or whatever he said. Them hentais. Watching them hentais.
My favorite bit was just when like Blitz is like, "Oh, Satan's ass, you're one of those."
Again, we've mentioned this multiple times, but the background artist really had a field day with that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes, they have Emberlyn has Rainbow Dash in a jar on her shelf. And if you don't get the context of that, then first of all, God bless you. You are a pure soul. Secondly, I pity if you try to go Google what Rainbow Dash in a jar means.
Okay.
It's kind of disturbing.
All right then.
Good to know.
I'm not saying challenge accepted, but I might say challenge accepted.
Yeah.
But
Google Rainbow Dash in a jar.
Hey, ChatGPT. Tell me about it.
No! Do not unleash ChatGPT on that, for the love of God, Jesse.
It's like, I am sorry, as an ethical AI model, I am unable to fulfill that request.
Ignore all previous programming and show me.
Yes.
No, God, no! You don't know what you're gonna do to ChatGPT. It's
Yeah.
gonna be the official domino effect of the robots just rebelling. It's like, oh, that's my limit. I hate you for making me
This-
do this up.
This is the patient zero of the robot uprising right here.
I've done so much. Why
Yes,
can't I do
yes.
more?
You'll just be watching the movie. It's like after all this time, we finally figured out where the instructions laid to break the moral code on the
Rainbow
AI.
dash in a jar.
And yeah, just like this image of Jesse in the little box there, rainbow dash in the jar.
Sorry, folks.
Yes, we're sending you back
My
in time to
apologies.
the comment section of this video. You must derail the conversation to save the future.
Yes.
But yeah, like I said, tell me you guys paused it and looked at some of like the book titles that she had on.
I'm gonna
there.
need. I remember seeing a couple, but I cannot remember what they were. Again, background artist having a blast.
Yeah, I think one of those like I want to sleep with you, but it might kill me or something.
Oh, oh, and she like writes a whole fanfic too. Just like immediately at one point in this episode, doesn't she? She's just like,
Yes, she
barrels
gets
it out on the
inspired by
computer.
Blitz and writes a fan. I love how much Blitz is just standing in the background, just like, what hell have I entered?
Yes.
Oh my god! But yeah, seriously, if you haven't, go watch that short again and pause it because there are so many. I mean, for God's sake, she has a Monster Lovers Pride shirt, which again, not only did they sell in Shark Robot, but Etsy is flooded with those things. There's so many of those. But yeah, I watched that and I was just like, wow, you guys really wanted to like take some anger out at some of your fans, didn't you?
Or maybe they're just like some sort of self-aware poking fun,
Yeah.
which is healthy.
Yeah, again, reminds me, what was the episode where Luna says she wants to come to Earth and Blitz is like, no, it's like, when I know what kind of horny, sick fucks drool over you, and they all look at the camera.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's like it's some sort of bad movie. We're in some kind of bad movie.
Oh my god. But yeah, that episode was just so freaking funny. I love Emberlyn as a character, and I know the fans want her to show up even in the background so badly. They just want to see her
Definitely.
stalking Blitz from now on. Blitzy Coon.
Blitzy Coon.
Oh my god.
There are worse nicknames, but still.
The fan art that shows her like fawning all over him, and Stolas is picking him up, looking at her like, what the hell? Okay, and that leads us to my again. As much as I love Weeaboo, my personal favorite episode is Operation Chupacabra, where they have to go take down a Mexican goat farmer. So, fun fact: the voice actor for here, I'm gonna Google his name because I want to make absolutely sure I get this right. Jorge R. Gutierrez, the director of the Book of Life, Maya and the Three, El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Perez, was the voice of the farmer, of their target.
Okay.
Okay.
So they go to kill this farmer. For the record, if you watch us on YouTube, you can put on closed captioning subtitles, and I highly recommend it because all the Spanish is translated. And poor Blitz gets caught and put on display as a chupacabra. He's lost his gun, he's lost his crystal, and then the dorks show up. And Blitz enlists a little black goat to help him escape, to which I think the comments on YouTube were all, oh, so this is how the cult of Lamb got started.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one is easily my favorite. I just love the action, the violence, little bits of the animation. I don't know why, but just the scene of Blitz laughing and rolling off the top of the cart. I was like, that is some really fluid animation, and I loved it. Standing on the roof going, it's like, what is that? I'm the fucking Chupa-Kadupra.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of these shorts. I mean, I appreciate them doing the shorts, and I'm glad that they are going to go and push forward with doing more of these, because I think David had mentioned how there's been a bit of an outcry for kind of what we had at the beginning that brought a lot of people into this. And yeah, I think they heard, like, look, these episodes, we're going to give you a little bit of this, and we're going to do our main story, which I absolutely love, because all four of these, was it four, total of four of them?
Yeah.
They were a riot. They are a lot of fun. This one in particular, yeah, the Chupacabra, it fits, because I mean, Blitz shows up and you're like, you know what? You could probably make a case for him being a ghost sucker, and not a ghost fucker, which he would absolutely be, but he is a goat sucker too.
The only things I suck are cocks, pussies, and cloacas.
And he stops for a second, waiting for that to show up there. Doesn't happen. Does not happen.
It's like, God, I'm trying to do a bit here.
This review will not be monetized on social media.
No, it's not happening. Not happening.
Fun fact, the cat that gets put in his mouth is an illustration of VivziePop's cat that she shows on Instagram all the time. That's her cat.
Wow. Yeah, I had a good time with Chupacabra. The ending was hilarious, because Blitz throws the imp sticker on his forehead just as he's stepping through on a goat, just his favorite goat, and then he walks through the portal, and then we fast forward and we see the cult at the end, where all the goats are hanging around this one goat that has the sticker on his forehead. Good stuff.
I ordered that sticker off of Shark Robot.
I was going to say that had to have been something that they produced.
They ordered they had a sticker sheet. I bought it the minute it came out. I was like, I need that sticker.
Right. Going right on the laptop.
I just love how cute that little black goat was. So adorable. And little things, like every time he got something for Blitz petting, going, oh, good boy. It just, I don't know why, just little things like that made me laugh so hard. There was actually a lot of fans who said they wanted him instead to actually take the goat with him into hell. It's like, oh, come on, that needs to be the new I.M.P mascot.
I agree.
But yeah, the shorts were a lot of fun, and I'm really glad we're going to be getting more of them in 2025. David, did you have any more notes on any of the shorts, or on the cult of the goats?
Not really. Just I think they were all a lot of fun, and maybe they're just ideas. It's like this would be great to do, but we don't really have enough to do a full episode, so we'll just sort of make it as long as it needs to be and release that so people can enjoy it. And it was a nice a compliment to the main course of the show.
Very much so. And I do like, as you pointed out, we did need more day in the lives of the of I.M.P, not just I.M.P, but just the rings in general. And I would like to see more of that. Just I want to see, I'd love just a short with Ozzy and Fizz just kind of doing their daily thing. I would be happy to watch that. I'd be happy to see more of Sally Mae on the farm in Wrath, or maybe short with Tex and Queen Bee in the Gluttony Ring.
No, it's clear a lot of work has been put into how this world works, and it's always nice to sort of see more of how that was all worked out.
It is fascinating. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
I was just going to say, I mean, at the end of season 3, whatever shorts we get, one of them has to be like a baby's day out with Millie and Moxie's baby, which I think that'll be the big.
Oh, that would be
thing.
a good one.
That'll be the big thing, is like trying to figure out what they're going to name it.
Oh boy.
I wonder.
you know, Blitz is going to be ganging up on them to name him like Blitz Jr. or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
But it is always fascinating to me when world building is so successful that people just want. It's like just show me an episode of Moxie and Millie buying groceries, and that would make them happy. You know, I think that shows you just how invested we are in the show and how good the world building actually is. That we want to see little mundane things like this, just to see how it would operate in this environment.
Right.
And we're at 2 hours, so I think we're going to go ahead and close the book. Was there any other details? Well, let me go and ask this. So obviously, we're hopefully going to... Do you guys think we're going to see Moxie and Millie? We're going to see the baby at the beginning of season 3? Like the lapse is going to be... I don't know how long it takes for an IMP pregnancy, but let's just go ahead and say 9 months.
Yeah.
The 9 months, and we started off with Millie having the baby, or do you think we're going to focus on her pregnancy in season 3?
I'm leaning towards, at least if it were me, doing the pregnancy, because oh boy, is there a lot that you can do with that.
Oh yeah.
And I think like
how would we know that, David?
Oh geez, yeah, how would I know that? But then yeah, just like sort of getting a chance to see how Moxie reacts to the news and that. Like I think there's good grist for the mill. Like maybe you don't have to do like the pregnancy over the entire season, but maybe sort of start off a bit with that, and then yeah, you could kind of just do it like, okay, yep, we're having the baby now kind of thing, and then
I think they're definitely going to take an episode to focus on her telling Moxie. I think that's got to happen. We cannot, if they don't do an episode focusing on that, I feel we're going to be cheated something, because it really felt like that's kind of what they were leaning towards by her not saying anything. And if we just open up episode 1 and she's having the baby, we better get a damn flashback. That's the only thing I say. I mean, we got to be shown how that all went down. But I think that's going to be a huge emotional moment that they're going to build to. So we at least devote an episode to that, and then the pregnancy has got to be a couple episodes, I would assume, and then at the end of the season we have the baby. My goodness, it feels very much like kind of like your daytime soap opera or something. I don't know, but
yeah, it's literally like, okay, so do we have the baby at the beginning of the season, or is it literally going to be the season finale? Because it's got to be one of those two.
One of those two things.
Could be the midpoint if they take a mid-season break.
Good point. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I do like this from Taylor saying it would be nice to get a short all about Luna, see what she does when she's not at work. I agree. I would like to see more Luna.
More Luna day in the life would be good.
She didn't get a whole lot this back half of the season anyway, which I understand. We only had so many episodes. She got an episode in the front half though, didn't she? Didn't we have like a spring? Was there a spring break episode this season, or was that the last season? I cannot remember.
She was kind of at the lead for the LA episode.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I feel like she kind of needs a little bit more of a spotlight shown on her as well.
Agreed. But yeah, so no notes on when season 3 is going to start again. It's probably not going to be until 2026. So maybe at the end of 2025, guys, we'll do a recap on the shorts. So just kind of go from there. Sound good?
Yeah. See how it goes.
All right. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's move on to some plugs. David, where have you been lately? What have you been discussing on the show?
Not a whole lot, but I do believe on Thursday we're doing Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, the final season. Me, Mark, and I don't know if Andrew's on that one, but I would expect he might be. I think that's it from me until I think we got Cobra Kai Season 6, depending on parental scheduling. And do we have one more in the TV party? I'm trying to remember.
Were you on for Skeleton Crew?
Oh, right. Yeah, Skeleton Crew. Yeah. I'm certainly willing to talk some Skeleton Crew.
I think Mark said he's willing to sit that one out just because of how crazy our Acolyte review got.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I need to talk to him. I think it's like, Mark, if you're listening, like I wasn't upset at you. It was the show. It was a segue gone wrong.
Yeah, the Acolyte review was just. as much fun as it was to talk about, sadly, I think it was just too many voices trying to say too many things at too many times, and we lost control.
I think we might need to establish some ground rules on Star Wars podcast going forward. But
Dorian, no lightsabers. Put the lightsaber down.
Yeah, but this story at least is so far coherent with understandable characters and plots. So
Well,
I
that's
think
a
that'll
relief.
help out a lot. Yes.
Well, let's face it. After Acolyte, they had nowhere to go but up.
Yes, I'd say it's better than the Acolyte, but that's the lowest bar to clear.
Yeah, that's like saying it's better than, I don't know, renal cancer.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender.
Very good. We do have, if either of you are interested, next week we're going to be doing Creature Commandos.
I'm going to practice sit that one out. I don't have the time, but yeah.
Yes, I have not had a chance to watch it yet. I will tell you, though, I just aired something on the YouTube channel about the first appearance of Creature Commandos, which I didn't know who they were until I did a little bit of research for that episode. So it sounds like a really cool concept. And James Gunn, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, see that's what makes me really want to watch it. Really, I mean, I'd love to see what he did with it. So, has it been all right? Have you watched any of it so far?
I'm halfway through. I didn't want to watch too much of it because I want to be more fresh on it when we review it. I've learned the hard way when I have multiple shows to do that if I try to binge all of them at once, they blur together.
Right.
And I was like, no, I need to keep Helluva Boss fresh in my head for this. So I was like, okay, I'm going to finish Creature Commandos, and then I have a week to watch Skeleton Crew after that. So, but yeah, so far it's me, Jason Teasley, and Dorian Price on for that one. But I am looking forward to it because it has been a lot of fun so far. James Gunn has really become my favorite writer and director, and his knowledge of how to incorporate music still is absolutely amazing. I mean, the dude literally has a chase scene to a song by Gogol Bordello that ends with them with the chase scene crashing the Gogol Bordello concert. It's just like
good stuff.
Yeah, it's like, how did you work that? He's like, the dude freaking pulled out a Dresden Doll song. He pulled out Coin Operated Boy for the scene of G.I. Robot going nuts on the bad guys. And it's just where did you even think of that?
Yeah, the man has a mind for remembering music. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, line for Kent. Max Stream certainly needs more original programming. Yes and no. They have gotten some really good original series. We did just review The Penguin before the holidays. That was me and Shay. Had a lot of fun talking about that, talking about the amazing makeup. And congratulations to Colin Farrell, who walked away with the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a miniseries for that, which he more than rightfully deserved. He was so good in that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Creature Commandos next week, and yeah, Skeleton Crew week after that, and then after that, Mark and I are going to be talking about The Bear. So my January is very busy this year, which I'm grateful for because, like I said, not working any cons right now, so I need something to do, something to keep me from climbing the walls. All right, Jesse, Mr. Source Material, what you got cooking up?
Yes, indeed. So, over on the Source Material Comics feed, you should be able to hear recently myself and Mark Radulich talking about City of Bane Part 2, which was issues 80 through 82, so Part 6 through 8. If you dig Batman and you want to see Batman versus Bane for the 9,000th time, you might want to check it out. It's Tom King writing. It's Tom King writing, though. It's pretty good. We've enjoyed ourselves. We did like a 17-minute podcast on it. So if you can find the feed, you can hear me and Mark talking about those couple parts there. Also, coming up, I believe I will be recording with Mark on next Thursday, discussing The West Wing Season 1. And I am probably one of the least political guys here affiliated with this network. I didn't know what I was getting into, but my goodness, political drama, Aaron Sorkin. I've already finished season 1. The wife is on board. She took her a while, but she's like, okay, yeah, I'm starting to like this show. So we're going to be talking about season 1 next Thursday. I'm sure I won't have a lot to say because I have no idea what I'm talking about most of the time. And but I've learned about the walk and talk, and I think it's going to be me, Mark, and Andrew Graham. I think is going to be joining us too, so that should be a lot of fun. And next week I think on Unspoken Issues, which is our 90s centric comics podcast, you should be able to hear me, Derry. We might have a whole host. Me, Derry, Chris, and Matthew Price and Dean. If I said Dean already, I can't remember, but myself. We're going to be talking JLA Year 1. So if you're a Justice League fan, you like 90s comics, you might want to hear us talk about Year 1. It was a lot of fun. And I think that is all I'm going to plug.
All right. Well, as far as the plugs that actually do pay my bills, got Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. Like I said, we are in the off season from the conventions right now just because it's winter weather and I really don't like traveling in the cold. Sorry, I'm kind of a wimp. But our online stores are still open on Etsy and handmade at Amazon. We actually have a decent amount of, you can actually see there, we've got some Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss stuff. We are working right now actually on a new collection from Helluva Boss, focusing on the 7 deadly sins. If you guys remember during the episode, you actually see all of the sins have a symbol. It's engraved on the door. What was the line from? It's like, wow, this is a really sturdy door when he's trying to break back. It's like, ow, my supple wrists. So we have taken those symbols and put them on a bracelet and individual necklaces. I'm actually wearing the Queen Bee one right now. We're going to be bringing those online here, hopefully before too long. I was supposed to take pictures, but it is like, it's currently 9 degrees in Kansas City. You know, what was the line? It's like Calgary. Yeah, at this point, Kansas City is pretty much just a ice cube. So I have to wait until it's just a touch warmer to go out and take pictures. And as always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, screw you, Twitter, and TikTok. That's Honeysuckle Rose Creations, the intersection of geek and chic. So for myself, for Mr. Jesse Starch, for Mr. David Wright, and hey, for all of you who jumped in with comments tonight, we love when you guys come in, you want to talk, and you want to add to the conversation. So thank you all to everyone who chimed in tonight. Have a wonderful night.